Welcome to our lesson on decomposition. The key questions for today are: what is decomposition? How can we use data and graphs to calculate how the rate of decay changes? What are the optimum conditions for decay? What is fertilizer? What is anaerobic decay, and how can it be useful? The key words you will need to know are decomposition, rate, optimum, aerobic, anaerobic. Decomposition is a process by which compounds are broken down. Dead organic matter decays, which helps to recycle materials within an ecosystem. Decomposers are microorganisms which help decay to occur. These include bacteria and fungi. They release enzymes to break down compounds, and the nutrients are then returned to the soil and absorbed by living organisms such as plants. Task: can you think of any examples of decay? Decay is the process that occurs when our food goes off. We may even see molds and fungi growing on spoiled food. We may use decay to our advantage in compost heaps. The decay process relies on decomposers being present to break down the compounds. These organisms respire, so use oxygen to release energy from their food. As they respire, they also release heat, which is why a compost heap can feel warm. This is why storing food in airtight containers helps to stop it going off. The decomposers also need moisture to help the transport of compounds and to digest their food. This is why drying food will help to stop it spoiling. Decomposers secrete enzymes to break down the compounds. Enzymes are proteins with specific shapes that catalyze reactions. This means they speed up reactions. Enzymes can become denatured by high temperatures, meaning they can change shape and therefore do not work anymore. All reactions slow down in cold temperatures, including the decay process. This means that for decay to occur, the temperature needs to be warm but not too hot. This is why keeping food in a fridge or a freezer helps it to last longer. All of these factors will affect the rate that decay occurs. The rate of decay is how much decay happened per unit of time. How much decay has occurred can be monitored by either measuring a reactant being used up or a product being made. Task: answer this exam question. Gardeners sometimes make compost heaps from dead plant material. The dead plants decay in the compost heap. Figure 1 shows a compost heap. The thin layers of soil contain organisms that cause decay. Which two types of organism cause decay? Tick 2 boxes. Bacteria, fungi, grass, insects, worms. The organisms that cause decay are bacteria and fungi. Worms are detritus feeders, meaning they don't cause decay but help decay occur by breaking down dead organic matter into smaller pieces. Extension: the rate of decay in the compost heap depends on several environmental factors. Explain how the rate of decay would be affected by an increase in oxygen concentration, a temperature increase from 5 degrees C to 25 degrees C. An increase in oxygen concentration would increase the rate of decay as the decomposers need oxygen for respiration. An increase in temperature would also increase the rate as warmer temperatures increase the rate of reactions. Compost that is made in a compost heap like this still contains some undecayed matter. This can be spread onto fields and gardens to help plants grow better and quicker. This is because it will continue to decay and release nutrients and minerals into the soil that can be absorbed by the plants to help them grow. The microorganisms that cause decay break down and digest some compounds present themselves. They secrete enzymes, which will break down large molecules into smaller ones. These small molecules then diffuse into the microorganism. This is how microorganisms would obtain glucose for respiration from carbohydrate-rich matter. This means that the decomposing matter will decrease in mass and carbon dioxide will be generated by the decomposers as they respire. They will also take in oxygen from the air. This is why a good compost heap needs airflow. Some composters use a rotating bin that aerates the waste as it turns. Others use less dense materials such as hay and straw to allow air to flow between layers of waste material. Task: composters have air holes in the side. Why is this important? Air holes are important to allow oxygen gas in so that the decomposers can respire and carbon dioxide can be let out. This graph shows the change in mass of some potato cubes as they decay. The cubes were kept at different temperatures. The rate of decay is shown by the gradients of the lines. Task: which temperature gave the fastest rate of decay? 40 degrees gave the fastest rate of decay, shown by the steepest gradient. This graph shows the amount of carbon dioxide produced per day from grass cuttings in a composter. We can calculate the rate of decay by working out the gradient of the line, so the change in carbon dioxide concentration over time. Extension: calculate the rate of decay between 5 and 15 days. We need to read from the graph the concentration of carbon dioxide on day 5 and 15, then work out the difference. We then need to divide this by the time taken to give us the rate. 0.5 minus 0.1 equals 0.4. 15 minus 5 equals 10. 0.4 divided by 10 equals 0.04% per day. Task: summarize the optimum conditions for decay. The optimum conditions for decay are small pieces of matter to decompose, airflow to provide oxygen, moisture, warm temperature. Anaerobic decay occurs when decomposers break down dead matter without oxygen. This can occur naturally in places where there is little airflow or low oxygen levels, such as in waterlogged soil. This often kills plants and creates smelly gases, such as methane. Methane is a greenhouse gas that causes global warming. The other product of anaerobic decay is carbon dioxide. We also cause anaerobic decay to occur deliberately in biogas generators. These are sealed vessels, so oxygen cannot get in. This means decomposers respire without oxygen, producing methane and carbon dioxide. Methane is useful to us as it can be burned. The matter that can be decomposed in this way can be crops, animal waste, and even domestic waste. This can reduce landfill and provide us with a renewable fuel.